10 weeks into taking semaglutide, have I broken my 5-week weight loss stall? I will let you know today. Also, I've been meal prepping and it's different on a GLP-1. So today I'm sharing what I prepped this week, what's working, and what I need to adjust now that I'm on this medication. You'll also get, of course, updates about medication dose and side effects. And then I get ready for the day while telling you what I binged on Netflix and bitching about my curly hair. Stick around. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm Bobby, and I'm a therapist and an artist and a married empty nest mom and grandmother. I'm sharing my personal experience with GLP-1 medication after menopause. Quick heads up, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not your therapist. This isn't medical or mental health advice, just my own story. I encourage you to talk to your healthcare providers to decide what's right for you. My weight has been stuck at between 200 and 201 pounds for like 5 or 6 weeks. And I've been doing all the things, but the scale just hasn't moved down. And two things. One, it's frustrating because I'm not patient and, we all want to see the scale go down. But two, I was noticing a lot of other good things going on in the body composition stuff that my scale gives me. I did lose a pound of fat, even though my weight wasn't going down. And I was just noticing my clothes were fitting differently. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going. Sooner or later, the scale is going to move. It finally moved this week. I'm down 2 pounds, or almost 2 pounds, basically. I weighed in at 198.1. And like I said, for the longest time, I was like 200 point something. And I wasn't counting the tenths of a pound because it seems like it falls in the measurement error to weigh, 200.1 and then 200.3. And it just was basically bouncing around in the 200 point something for so long. And 198.1. I'm so happy. My starting weight was 210. So I'm down about 12 pounds. I have mixed feelings about the BMI. It's a problematic metric. But anyway, according to the BMI, I am now overweight instead of obese. It went from 31.8 when I started out to 29.6. Anything under 30 is considered overweight, not obese. And I was 30 or above until this last weigh-in yesterday. I also had some more non-scale victories. I feel like I look less fluffy. Haven't gone down into any smaller sizes after losing 12 pounds, but there were a few things that I hadn't been wearing because they were tight that I'm wearing now. The funny non-scale victory I noticed this week is that I was wearing t-shirts to the gym because my workout tank tops showed so much side boob that I almost felt like it was exposing myself. And now there's so much less of that I'm wearing tank tops to the gym. It's just nice. It's just more comfortable. And the weather's getting a little warmer some days. So that's nice that I'm back in some workout tank tops. As I'm filming this, I still don't know if I'm going up on my dose next month or not. I've been going back and forth talking to my doctor. I might stay at this dose. It's still the starter dose, and I've been on it for 3 months, but I'm totally fine if she decides to keep me at this dose because it is working and I don't want to give in to my impatience and up my dose if I'm averaging, a little over a pound a week. It's been 10 weeks and I've lost 12 pounds. Yeah, I'm averaging a little over a pound a week. She might up my dose because I told her that the last couple days before my shot, I really noticed I am more hungry and I have a little more food noise. And I'm just sort of dealing with it. She might decide that that's enough to up the dose just to keep the food noise and the hunger under control better. And I'm okay with that too. I gave her all my feedback and I'm just going to kind of let her decide. I feel like she's been really respectful about letting me go slow and listening to my feedback. Oh, the other thing is my constipation's finally under control. She didn't want to up my dose when I was struggling with the constipation, and I know what to do and what to take every day. I talk about that in last week's video of what my regime is to stay on top of that. So that's another reason why I think she might feel like I'm ready for the zero point 0.5. We'll see. An interesting thing I'm noticing as time goes on is that I've had to learn to discriminate between food noise and actual hunger, because there have been times when I find myself thinking about food and thinking about, what should I eat? And thinking, oh no, is a food noise coming back? And then realizing, no, I just need to eat a meal. Like I'm actually hungry. And I'm thinking about food because my stomach and my body is actually hungry. It really does speak to how out of touch I was with my hunger cues, because I was so used to thinking about food all the time that I didn't know when I was actually hungry and when I was just wanting to eat. I've heard a lot of other people say this too, that when they start this medication is when they realize how much food noise they'd had. And that's definitely been my experience. I just thought that everybody felt that way, that everybody's mind worked that way. I've been thinking about how obesity is a disease, and it's not one that I was born with. I was a thin kid growing up, and as a teenager, I was thin. It wasn't until late college, so very young adult, that I gained some weight. And then for my adult life, I was never obese, but I yo-yoed between being in a healthy weight range and being overweight. And the weight would sort of creep on over time. And then I would buckle down and eat better and lose the weight. And over time, it would come back. But what changed is that after menopause, it's like that ability to lose the weight went away until I started this GLP-1 medication. So I don't know, can you develop obesity when your body changes and your hormones change? Because I feel like that's what happened. I was feeling really resigned. At some point, I was like, I guess I just have to try to live as healthy a lifestyle as I can as an obese person, because this weight is not coming off. So I am so grateful for this medication. I feel like now there's a pathway to me getting back into a healthy weight range, which it has been at least 5 years. Yeah, it's been since I was somewhere in perimenopause when I crossed over into being overweight and eventually obese and just could not get myself crossed back. Nothing huge to report on my exercise. I did one full body strength workout so far this week, and the other one I'm doing this afternoon. And I've been walking every day. So far, I've done one sprint interval training session during my walk, and then I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I feel like there was something else. Oh, I ordered a weighted vest last week, and it just arrived yesterday. So I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm looking forward to trying that. It was the brand, I'll put the brand up here because I forget. It's a brand that Target carries a lot of their products, but I didn't want to buy it at Target because I'm boycotting them right now. So I ordered it from a different company online. I think this one was around $30. And once I try it, I'll tell you about it. So I've been back in the kitchen this week meal prepping after having some meal delivery service do kind of the bulk of my meals, at least my lunches, my dinners for the past few weeks. So I want to share with you how I meal prep, what I meal prepped this time, and some things I learned that are different about meal prepping on a GLP-1 medication compared to what I used to do before I was on this medication. So for many years, I've meal prepped salad jars. And what I do is I take several 1-quart mason jars and I prep a protein, some greens, some veggies, some kind of fun things like nuts and seeds and dried fruits, and a dressing, and just, store them in individual mason jars so that I can have a lunch ready to go. Even though I work from home, it's really nice to have a prepped meal waiting in the fridge so that even if I only have, really short break between clients, I know that I've got a healthy meal waiting. So this past weekend, I prepped 4 salads. Here you can see I roasted beets, broccoli, and sweet potatoes. I did things a little differently than I had. In the past, I always made exactly the same salad in all the jars. And I knew that I wanted more variety this time. And so these 3 vegetables won't be in every single salad. And in fact, I didn't end up putting them in the mason jars. The mason jars, I put in mixed greens, shredded cabbage, and then some kind of bean in the bottom. A couple of them had chickpeas and a couple of them had lentils. And I also left the dressing out of the jars. I used to put the dressing in the bottom of the jars, but I decided that I wanted to vary the dressings, and whatever I happened to be in the mood for that day, I could use that dressing. And that's not anything that, takes much time. So those were some differences to give myself some variety this time. I also didn't add in the seeds and fruits to the salad jars. I made these cute little, I don't know, they're like tiny little cute containers, and I filled them with different combinations of things. Well, they all have dried cherries in them because I love dried cherries. And then a couple of them had sunflower seeds, some of them had hemp seeds, some of them had pumpkin seed. So just again, to give myself some variety. And then for the proteins, I cooked a bunch of chicken thighs in my slow cooker. And I knew I had some leftover ground turkey from a different meal that I made. So that gave me some different options to add some protein to these salads. Here's what I learned this week with these salad jars. Being on the GLP-1, I cannot eat the size of salad that I used to be able to eat. One jar is now basically 2 lunches instead of 1 lunch. I'm still putting the amount of protein that I want in the salad, but in terms of the greens and the veggies, it was just too much bulk. I don't think that it was necessarily a huge calorie saver because lettuce is not the reason why people gain weight. You don't need to cut down on your lettuce to lose weight, but I need to cut down on the lettuce at one meal in order to be able to eat the meal. I realized that I can prep smaller meals. Related to that, I had defrosted some chili that I had made, I don't know, a while back. And I was going to alternate it with some kind of homemade curry for some variety for dinners. And I just don't eat as much food. So it took me until towards the end of the week to even want to make the curry because there was so much food in the fridge. And I was like, I don't think I can get through all this food. I just can't eat as much volume these days. So it doesn't do much for my goal of increasing my variety, but I just can't cook up 2 entrees unless I have plans to cook them both up and freeze half of them right away. You know what? That's actually a really good idea because then I get the variety and there's some week I can eat them and I don't even have to do the prep. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But this week I didn't cook them both up. I really thought that there might be a lot of food waste if I just had too much fresh food in the fridge, meal prepped, that I couldn't get through because my appetite is so different on this medication. Let me tell you about the breakfasts I've been eating. I've been packing in a huge amount of fiber in my breakfast by making a chia seed pudding with raspberries in it. Chia seeds and raspberries together, oh my gosh. This bowl, I know it doesn't look pretty, but there are, I think, at least 15 grams of fiber in this. I'll put up the number because I don't remember off the top of my head. So that's been a breakfast that I've been enjoying. It doesn't have a lot of protein, so I've combined it with protein coffee. The one I'm buying right now is muscle milk. It's got 25 grams of protein in it. I think it's around 200 calories. And I just pull a couple of espresso shots, pour them over ice, add 1 can of muscle milk, not can, but you know what I mean, container. And yeah, I've been drinking that along with his pudding. It definitely keeps me full until past lunch. I typically have been pushing my lunch out till pretty late and then just eating dinner a little later too, because I'm just not hungry. It would be so easy to undereat. And I'm not even sure I'm eating enough calories now as it is. In fact, yesterday I scheduled an appointment with a dietitian. It's not for a couple weeks. I've never met with a dietitian in my life before, but I just started to wonder, like, am I not eating enough calories? Am I eating too many calories? On Weight Watchers, they do show the calories now. That's a big change for them just recently. But I've kind of just more been eyeballing them to make sure that I at least get about 1,500. But I'm starting to wonder now if 1,500 calories a day isn't enough. And since I feel really clueless about that, I was like, why am I not talking to an expert? So I scheduled an appointment with my dietitian. She works out of the same medical practice that my PCP works at. And I know someone who's seen her before and likes her, so I'm excited. I think that this will be a good experience. And yeah, I'll keep you posted about my dietitian. Got on that subject because I was talking about breakfast and how easy it would be not to eat. This breakfast with the raspberries and chia seeds has been one of my go-tos lately. The other thing I've been doing is chia seeds with blueberries. Love that too. To up the protein with that, I'll add in some Greek yogurt. When I have the time to mix up a smoothie, it does take me around 10 minutes. I realize that's not a lot of time, but I am not a fast mover in the mornings. But when I make a smoothie, I like to put these 3 protein sources in it: collagen, peanut butter powder, and I really like the Aloha vanilla flavor protein powder. So I put those in my blender with oat milk, frozen fruit. Today I had frozen blueberries and some fruit from mixed fruit. I had mangoes, pineapple, strawberries, and I forget what else. I'll try to find a picture. And then I add a little diced ginger, a little bit of vanilla extract. I think that's it. Yeah. And it looks this beautiful blueberry color and gives me tons of protein, a couple servings of fruit right off the bat, and a decent amount of fiber as well. So yeah, smoothies and chia seed puddings have been my breakfast. Believe it or not, my meal prepping this week is related to my art. I was cutting up romaine lettuce for the salad jars, and the stem, as I picked it up to throw it away, I looked at the flat of it and I was like, that is so pretty. That is just so beautiful. So I snapped a picture of it and then I finished my meal prep. And later I took the picture and I scanned it and I put it into Adobe Illustrator, which is my design software of choice. And I manipulated it and I cleaned it up and I played around and I made a really simple pattern. I just wanted to throw it into a pattern just to kind of establish it as a motif. What I have been doing with my art lately is surface pattern design, which is repeating patterns. So think about things where the patterns repeat infinitely, like fabric, wallpaper, wrapping paper. I take my artwork, whether it's something that I draw or paint or something I took a picture of, and I use Adobe Illustrator to turn it into a repeating pattern. And then I print my patterns on different products. Like I've got yoga pants that have my artwork on them. So anyway, this lettuce that I was cutting up during my meal prep turned into this pattern. I'm going to play around with it some more, but I wanted to share that. I've been in kind of a dry spell creatively lately. So it was nice that I got inspired by some produce to make some art. Oh, I've got 30 minutes. No, I've got a whole hour before I start seeing clients. I thought I'd get some filming done while I'm getting ready. So I have naturally curly hair, and it's been a love-hate relationship with it. I had straight hair until I hit puberty. When I was around 12, much to my surprise, my hair went curly. So anyway, I've gone through many phases of wearing my natural curl and straightening it, or straightening it and then curling it. Right now I'm in a natural phase, so I'm just wearing my natural curl. I just put this in my hair. I like the Shea Moisture products. And I know you're not supposed to brush curly hair, but I find that I get bigger curls instead of tiny little frizzy curls if I brush it and then scrunch it. So that's what I'm going to do. And while I'm doing that, I gotta tell you why I stayed up so late last night. I binge watched the entire second season of Survival of the Fittest. I enjoyed season 1 so much, and I had no idea season 2 was out. And it's on Netflix, so I was like, looking through Netflix, I'm gonna shake my curls out now. Kind of scrunch them. And then I put this gel. Oops, I cannot see anything. Some of this gel in, and then once it hardens, I break the cast of the gel, and that's what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm not in love with the results, but I think that's the curl of my hair and not what I'm doing with it, because it's always been really inconsistent, like really curly, in the front, especially on this side in the front, a little bit curly here and then straighter in the back. It's so weird. So it makes it really hard to have a hairstyle that looks cohesive. I stopped the camera because I whacked my microphone off my shirt. I think I put enough gel in. What was I talking about? I think I was complaining about my curly hair and how it's hard to have a cohesive curl pattern. So I'm just trying to embrace that whatever my hair does is whatever my hair does. And that's okay. I also stopped coloring it about a year ago. I was pretty blonde for years because I felt like a blonde because that's what color my hair was growing up. But I grew up in Los Angeles where it's sunny all the time. So my hair was just bleach blonde growing up. And then this is, well, there's a lot of gray in it now, but this darker, dirty blonde, light brown is really how my hair grows naturally without the sun. And I got tired of coloring it, and so I decided just to see what would happen if I grew it out. And I think there's still some blonde color down here somewhere, but this is like natural. There's gray and there's all kinds of colors. It's kind of a lot of different colors. So anyway, I'm going to let this dry naturally. I'm going to do my makeup. Oh, I was talking about Survival of the Thickest. Oh my gosh. Highly recommend this show. I love Michelle Buteau. I enjoyed the first season so much. I watched it, I feel like it was a couple of years ago. I didn't even know there was a season 2 coming. And so when I saw it, I was so excited. I thought, oh, I'll just watch, the first episode. I stayed up really late watching the entire second series. I couldn't stop. I was enjoying it so much. And you know what? One of my favorite storylines, I'm a therapist, and I'm used to seeing therapy portrayed in the media in unrealistic ways. And sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I don't. And sometimes I know it's for dramatic effect. Like, I love the show Shrinking, and there's so much wrong with the therapy they portray. But it's over the top comedy, and so the boundaries they're crossing and everything, I get it. It's entertainment. But when I do see a really realistic portrayal, I'm just so happy. So the character Khalil in Survival of the Thickest, played by Tone Bell, who I know I've seen in other things, but I can't remember what they are. Anyway, he decides in season 2 that he needs therapy. He finds a therapist, and he's played by the actor Hassan Johnson, who, as I was watching him play this middle-aged therapist, I was like, God, he looks familiar. I know him. I have, when you see an actor and you can't remember where you saw them, but the feelings are there. So I was like, I feel really connected to this guy, and I don't remember why. And so I looked up his name, and sure enough, he was Weebay in The Wire. And I was like, Weebay! So that was fun. There was actually more I wanted to say about Khalil and his therapy storyline, but I'm editing right now. And it was about how the story portrayed a Black man in therapy with so much sensitivity and emotional depth. And I just decided, I want to be mindful not to speak over voices or experiences that aren't mine. So I'm taking it out in editing, but I do want to say this storyline is powerful and tender, and it's really worth watching. Honestly, I enjoyed every single part. Every single part. The fashion is fabulous. The character arcs and the character development is fabulous. The emotional realness. I will let my hair dry naturally. I'll scrunch it, and then I'll start seeing my clients. I forgot to film an outro, so here goes. If you're still with me, thanks so much for watching. And if you liked this, please hit like, subscribe so that you can stay in the loop with my GLP-1 medication experience. And also, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know how your journey's going, if you have any questions. If you have any curly hair care tips, I would love to hear them, because I don't know, I'm just not that happy with the quality of my curls. And on that note, I will see you next week. I hope you're doing great. I really appreciate you. Thanks so much. Bye.